Alright, and we're in game number 11 of the best of 21 between Fuplis and Fredinhiovic. What an exciting series it has been so far. And this next map is especially exciting to me. It's Pilgrims. So it works like this. Each player starts on a small island over here, and there's a big mainland on the left-hand side. In this case, depends on the map generation, of course, and you need to migrate over. However, the question is, do you migrate over immediately, or do you build your town center on the starting island, which only has a couple of resources, but be just much faster than your opponent? So there's different strategies to go for. Also be careful that your opponent doesn't lame your sheep, as is often done in these kind of scenarios. And yes, so as expected, Fuplis is going for the town center on the starting island, and we will see that this brings him a big advantage because he can start to produce villages right away. Although I have to say, he's maybe not as quick as I would have expected him to be. But one thing to note also of the starting island is that there's a lot of shore fish. While you might think, oh, there's only a couple of sheep, not too much food, but you have all this shore fish, and you can produce, you can make a dock and then produce fishing ships. So food is not an issue. The biggest issue is actually the wood. So you're quite limited in wood on your starting island. Now, Fredinhiovic also should make sure that he uses those resources that he has on the starting island as long as he can, and then transfer the economy to the main island. One thing on the main island is that you have a lot of herdables. In this case, we have turkeys. Now, in the previous game, we have seen the llamas. Now we have the turkeys, which maybe are even my favorite of all the animals because they make a cool sound. And I like all the animals that do make cool sounds, like the camels as well. And yes, but with these herdables comes also the danger of the big bad wolf attacking your villagers. But Freddy wising up here, he is actually attacking the wolf with the town center. He already has loom, so he is ready for that, and now he has all the riches of this mainland to his disposal. But on the other hand, he only now gets a dock up, so he's a little bit later here. And also Fuplis, I think, will be able to get water control in feudal age just because he will be earlier in feudal age than his opponent. Also, he's up by 3 villages. So while he doesn't have a town center on the mainland, he really has the economy advantage and can snowball this to a good position in the later game. But I think it's not 100% clear that this is the best strategy. I think in a lot of games this is a good strategy or a better strategy, but also sometimes it's better to just go to the mainland and secure your position from there. Also depends on the civilization you have. Now Fuplis, he has the Vikings, and the Vikings are a naval civilization, so you do want to go for those ships, which are cheaper, but they cannot build fire galleys, so you're only stuck with galleys in feudal age. So a lot of people, when they play the civilization and random, and they're like, oh, now I'm going to go for fire galleys, and then they cannot build them, they're a little bit confused. On the other hand, Fredinhiovic, he is playing as the Hindustanis, and they were previously known as the Indians. They're pretty much still the same civilization, although I think a lot stronger now. So their camels are back to their original strength. So they have the Imperial camel upgrade, which are super strong. And now their gunpowder is also very strong. Gunpowder has received a lot of buffs recently, so they got better accuracy, for instance. Also, with this civilization, they get extra armor, and then they get extra range. So you get +2 range with the unique upgrade. And then they get really scary, the hand cannons. This is something people should not underestimate. Camels and hand cannons are very strong for the civilizations, but they also have a strong economy bonus in that their villages cost less food. So right from the get-go, you have a strong bonus, but then you also have good options in the late game. So overall, Hindustan is a really good civilization nowadays, I would say. And of course, they were changed recently with the newly released DLC, which is the Dynasties of India. where some other Indian civilizations were released. All except one are a little bit underwhelming. So the only good one is the Gurjaras, and that's only because they can build camels in the feudal age, and that's something we all like, of course. Now, let's see what those players will be doing. Now, Fredinhiovic, he is, of course, taking advantage of the fact that he has a very good wood line and he has basically infinite amounts of wood. So he already has 2 docks up. He is also gathering shore fish over here. Food Police, on the other hand, who is now up to feudal age. He has to travel further and further with his lumberjacks to get some wood, so his wood cutting becomes less and less efficient, and so he also has just 1 dock up. So he might be earlier to the next age, and he might have an economy advantage, which is actually quite sizable. It's 8 villages in total. In the long run, this might be balanced out by Fredinhiovic's ability to just gather a lot more wood. Now, one thing that Fredinhiovic was kind of lacking is gold, but now he is getting attacked by the wolves. Oh man, that was clutch to realize that the wolves are attacking here. Still, this kind of wolf almost got the villager. But I was about to say that he was lacking the gold, but he now is getting the income, although a little bit too late, so he won't be able to immediately queue 2 fire galleys as he should do in this kind of situation. But still, he is actually earlier up to feudal age than Food Police because he knew what kind of strategy Food Police would go for. So you can see that even if you're on the mainland, even if you took your time, you can still be up reasonably fast. And now Freddy is going for 1 fire galley and 1 normal galley. So he's really going for that water combat, and that's something that he also should do. I'm not sure why he's already moving the fishing ship. Probably just to have them out of the way, so that's overall that's fine. And now he's queuing up a lot of galleys, which I'm not sure about. I'm not sure why he just doesn't just go for fire galleys, because his opponent will only be able to make fire galleys. So I think it would make sense to counter that. Only be able to make normal galleys, so he would be able to counter that with fire galleys. But I think this is greed because he wants to be able to raid the shoreline of Food Police, who is now also on the mainland. So we see this outpost of him in the wilderness, hacking away with their axes on the wood, getting some resources there. Now, Freddy doesn't have too much on his starting island, just 1 lumberjack, also hacking away, and some houses there. Now we see the first water engagements, but the problem for Fredinhiovic is that Food Police has the Vikings, so his galleys will always be cheaper than the galleys of Fredinhiovic. So I think rather than go for galleys, I think the fire galleys might be the better play, just to chase away the galleys, just to have some meat in the front. Of course, the galleys are good, also good, and they can also raid a little bit, but overall you need some meat in the front that takes away the shots and that puts a lot of pressure on the galleys. And I think that's something we will see right now, although there's so many galleys out right now that the single fire galley is not able to accomplish much. And yeah, nice water balance and water dancing of those players. Nicely done. We see that this economy gap has narrowed a little bit as expected, but still Food Police holding a sizable advantage. But as long as water is still contested, it's difficult to make much use of this advantage because Food Police needs to transfer his economy to land at some point. Of course, he has some already over there, but he is not able to build a town center until Castle Age. So in the feudal age, he really needs to fight this out, get the upper hand, and get some good engagements like here, where Freddy doesn't pay attention. Now his docks are out of position, and this galley is just picked up for free. And now we see some dance micro here from Freddy. I'm not sure if it's actually worth it at this point, but Yes, overall, I think better engagement here for Food Please, who seems to lose a little bit less, seems to just have the numbers. We have only 5 galleys left, now losing more and more for Fredinhiovic, whereas Food Please has 8 galleys left, but also they are dwindling in numbers, so still quite contested, the battle for water. But as I said, in the long run, you really need to transfer your economy to the mainland. But still, winning water is really huge because you can take out the fishing ships of your opponent. And if you look at all the food that is here, look at all those marlins jumping, and all the salmon and tuna, and I don't know, is there Dorado in Definitive Edition? I hope so. I like Dorado. It's a very good fish. But I think it's not in Definitive Edition. I'm not sure. They definitely should add Dorado and a lot more fish in general. All right, I think now that the water battle has kind of fizzled out a little bit. I think Freddy is building numbers. Food Please is also building the numbers. But I think that the action could actually be transferred to the mainland, because if Food Please does not get a hold onto the mainland, at some point he will not be able to win, because the mainland in the end has the resources you need, like gold and stone and all of this wood, not to speak of the food. We see some villagers scuffle over here, and Food Please. Did they change the villager attack animation, by the way? It seems like they're using their fists nowadays, and not their stabby knife they used before. Let's look at this very closely. Yes, now they have the box. Oh, it's probably one of those stupid mods that are automatically enabled for some event. So I'm sorry to the viewers for this great misfortune that you have to witness here, which is boxing gloves on villagers. Now Food Please going for a market. And now we see the problem with this, with losing water control, is you lose access to those riches in the ocean, so you don't have any food income anymore. That's what you see with Fredinhiovic now finally retasking all these villages to the turkeys that he collected. But yeah, he's just lacking the food, and he has one man at arms just hacking away at the outpost, but he needs much more. And honestly, I would say just pull a couple of villages even and just attack. Just Food Please has ousted you from the water, but you can oust Food Please from the land by just being aggressive and being annoying and just hacking at the villages with whatever you have. Because Food Please is running out of options. He has only a few trees left on his island. The gold mine is soon to run out. He has 250 gold left there. Yes, he has a strong fleet. The armada is strong, but did it win in the end? And the answer is no, of course not. And that's beautifully done here by Fredinhiovic, now also having a scout, and that's brutal because a scout is so mobile, so he can just chase around those villagers. 2 villagers already going down, and more to come. And yeah, they're defenseless, they have nothing. Still, the numbers of men-at-arms and scouts is still low, so I don't think they can fight all of these villagers head-on. But they can inflict so much pain, and I think more villages can go down, and at least a lot of idle time is being forced, and that gives Fredinhiovic the opportunity to equalize and even overtake Food Please in terms of villager numbers. And that is beautiful. What is all this water control worth if you're not on the mainland? But now Food Please is in the next age. He is losing some more villagers, but overall I think he will be able to stabilize here. But what a massacre here. Really being hurt here. Now only 3 villages left. He doesn't even have enough. Yeah, I don't know, can he afford the town center? No, he cannot afford the town center because he doesn't have enough wood. And Yes, I think Brady just needs to make sure that he doesn't fall too far behind in technology. Let's see if he's up to the next age. No, he is just focusing on feudal aggression, uh, which I would like if Fukris didn't already have a stable and knights coming out. But yeah, we see this interesting dynamic on this map where one player really has the water control, but if he's not strong on the mainland, it's really difficult for him. But yeah, the knight will be strong enough to clean up all of these men-at-arms, and the problem for Frediniovic is just the food income. He is never going to reach Castle Age at this point in time if he doesn't drastically increase his food income, and that's what he's doing. However, problematic is that it's close to the shore, so these war galleys could actually reach the farms over the wood line. Now, don't be fooled too much by the score. That's mostly inflated by the navy of Fukris, which is admittedly impressive, but yeah, it's not as strong as you would think if you consider the land army. However, bad engagement here by Frediniovic. He clicked the barracks, never click buildings. But interestingly enough, he has to pull the knights because the town center is almost denied by the scouts. And this should give Frediniovic some time to maybe go towards the castle age. He really needs to use the market at this point. He has a lot of wood to sell, and so he should do that and sell it off and buy some food to really go up to the next age. And yeah, finally he's going for the market. He has realized I'm never gonna do this never gonna be able to do this, but now the knights are just so pesky. They're in the economy of Frediniovic, and yeah, the puny army of Freddy is not gonna do much. He really needs to produce a lot of spearmen and just pray that he can go to the next age, but instead he's going for scouts, and never build scouts in feudal age against knights. It's just not worth it. Even the spearmen, you can see how little they do, especially if the scouts don't have any upgrades. They do nothing. Look at this. And then should just fight. Like if you have to fight, then fight on your terms. Like this, you just lose everything without doing anything in return. And now I think Frediniovic just needs to fall back. He needs to wall up and not produce any scouts anymore, because the scouts are just a waste of precious food that he will need for the knights of his own. And he is prepping a lot of stables here. And don't attack the knights. He will just draw the attention. Just bide your time. Let him waste the time of the knights. And now you need to control, get some free hits in, and oof, no quick walling there. So a couple of villages will definitely go down here for Frediniovic, and this is going to get ugly. But if he's able to stabilize and go to the castle age, it will all be worth it for him. Still, it's a massacre. Fukris has a lot of time. He now has town center up on the mainland. He is reigning the economy of Frediniovic, so it really does not look good for Frediniovic. And that's just because he also overinvested again. He was a little bit sluggish to react. He was the first to feudal age, then he had a big economy lead, but lost water and then didn't transition fast enough. And now still losing, a lot of units here for free, basically, because he's fighting a knight in a choke point. But in the end, he is overwhelming his opponent, at least for the time being. But Fukris is already prepping more knights, and this is basically the standard gameplay that we're kind of used to at this point. Just knights in Castle Age, knight spam, and yes, Freddy needs to attack the palisade here, but he does not, and there will be another town center on the mainland for Frediniovic, and a lot of knights pouring in. Nothing in the queue for Frediniovic, no upgrade, nothing. Well, he does have light cav upgrade, but light cav just sucks against the knights. But seems he has the numbers. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. All the knights getting wasted for food, please. But Freddy won't be able to stop this town center. So what you should do is just wait and then attack the villagers once they're done building it. And food, please doesn't pay attention. Yeah, so food, please still benefiting greatly from the fish, even still taking shorefish over here. And that's what I said in the beginning, the shorefish really important. But what's really bad about this start on the island is that you have to transport all the villagers. It's like houseboat. So it's houseboat 2.0, so which makes for a lot of idle time. But in the end, look at the position that Food Please is in. So for him, this probably was worth it. And now we see an armored elephant, and I like this very much. Although I think he should not just send one in, because that's, I think, not enough. Although they can be quite strong, but he should have waited to have at least two of them, because now knights can dive into underneath the town center, while the town center just shoots and kill the armored elephant. And yes, so what a bad engagement here for Fredinhiovic, just losing. He had good numbers, he had the camels, but yeah, he's just getting shot down and destroyed. So yeah, armored elephants, very expensive. They do a little bit of splash damage to units, and yes, Food Please recognizes this. He says, "Too ambitious, my friend." Now some nice quick walling here for Fredinhiovic, but he has some more villages that are potentially in danger. But yeah, the great advantage of the Hindustanis is that they have strong camels. So if Fredinhiovic is able to pump out a couple of camels here while not losing too much, oh man, he's losing everything, absolutely everything. He's going full Titanic mode here. And the knights are underneath the town center. They can dive. They have they only have the +1 attack defense upgrade, so not that strong in the end. But yeah, I think Freddy needs to send a couple of camels over here, because this is a disaster. He's losing everything at this point. Now down to 37 villages. He really needs to plonk down 2 town centers and just start booming as much as he can. But in the meantime, he is able to raid very nicely here. And he does not realize, now he finally realizes that Freddy needs to go. Camels really weak against arrow fire, as they don't have any pierce armor. So camels really not that great. Don't go underneath the town center with these camels. They're really only good as a counter unit to the knights, and Food Please realizes the danger that the camels pose to his knights, and so he is prepping the counter, which is crossbowmen. But first, the camels doing a good job cleaning up the knight numbers. And that is very, very nicely done for Fredinhiovic, who now needs to recover in terms of economy. He now has a second town center here. I hope he adds a third one, because he really needs it to catch up in village numbers. We all know how good he is in terms of booming. And now he's also able to do some raiding. Very nicely done. 2 more villages going down, just like that. And yes, very nicely done. Even more going down. What a surprise! Underneath the town center. How fearless can you be? But still, Freddy should not waste the camels. They are precious. He needs them against knights, because that's what Food Please would love to do. Just produce knights. Even though the knights of the Vikings are not really good, they lack bloodlines. So that's why they're not as strong as they could be. But still, they are a very strong unit. I think in terms of transition, what Food Please could do is go, in the medium term, go for Berserks. He should go for Stone, and then maybe go for Berserks, who have been buffed in Castle Age, so they're really already viable in that age. They already also get the Chieftain's technology, I think, in Castle Age, which gives them extra attack against mounted units. So the Berserks would counter the camels, and they would generally just be a very strong unit in this case. and much stronger than the Knights, I believe, for what they cost, since the Knights are lacking some upgrades. But yeah, Freddy making the best of his situation now, coming back into this game. He has narrowed the villager gap. He has built the camel numbers. Also, we have to keep in mind that the fish, while they're still really effective here for food please, as time goes on, they will become less and less effective because they, the way or the travel distance to the dock will become longer and longer. So that's time is working in the favor of Fredinhiovic in this case. And yeah, now maybe would even be the time for some armored elephants. Although, if he does it correctly, he can almost take down this town center with the camels. Although instead he should just focus on the villagers, he will just get shot down. This is not a good play by Fredinhiovic, he's just losing everything. He's thinking that those are knights, but no, those are just camels. And yes, better way is drop a castle into the face of Food Please, and Food Please cannot really stop this. But what Food Please is doing is he is focusing on the relics. And it is interesting because I remember a time when Food Please told me, wow, nobody's going for relics, not even the pros are going for relics, and look at him, he is really going for those monks. And since Freddy is out of position again, this castle could actually be stopped, especially because of the monks. Although the monks, yes, they try to convert the camels instead of the villagers, and so this castle will go up, and so the town center of Food Please will be denied. So the gold mine has to be vacated, and Fredinhiovic has gotten some ground. And there's one recent change to the Hindustanis that I have not mentioned yet, and that is a new unique unit. They used to have the Elephant Archer, which is now a generic regional unit, and frankly, it sucks. It's a really bad unit. Never build Elephant Archers. It's just a waste of time, and they just die immediately. But instead, the Hindustanis got a unique infantry unit, which is, I have to look it up, I'm sorry, it's just too much at this point. It's which is the Ghulam, and the Ghulam is kind of like an eagle warrior. So it's very fast, it has a lot of pierce armor, and it's rather cheap. So it's a perfect counter to the archers actually, and also maybe to a lesser extent to the monks. So don't get confused by this unit. It does have a spear, but it's not strong against cavalry. It's actually pretty weak against cavalry, but you can see it has 3 base pierce armor, so it's really strong against the archers. So I think Hindustanis just have a lot of options. I mean, look at this. You have something against the archers, you have something against the knights, later you have the gunpowder. So there's really a lot they can do, and if Food Please doesn't get a better hold on this central island or this landmass, then I don't think he will be able to do it. So he is really playing for the long game, getting those relics in, trying to secure his economy. But if we get more of these Ghulams with some upgrades, then it really is going to be difficult for Food Please to find any damage over here. Although it seems like Freddy does not notice this huge mass of units in the back of his base, and so those archers will find some damage. 1, 2, 3 going down. Freddy not reacting. I think all of those villages just go down, and Freddy doesn't realize. No, finally he realizes. But in the meantime, he is doing some major damage over here underneath the town center. He's just diving. The villages don't fit anymore. He has some light cap in there. Light cap also good options for the Hindustanis, although he does lack the upgrade. So generally, problem for Fredinhiovic is that he lacks a lot of upgrades, but now he's doing some major damage. At the same time, Food Please now still has the crossbow army over here, and the Ghulams just lack the upgrades. They need more upgrades, otherwise they're just not effective in this role. And so they're just running back and forth. I don't know what he's thinking in this instance, and Food Please can just sit in this narrow here for a long time. Although if Freddy pulls out all of his units, then I think he's able to clear up the archers. And look at this, the villager numbers are almost even. It's only 3 more for Food Please. And so it looks like Fredinhiovic is able to come back into this game. And yes, as I said, in the long run. So on the other hand, Vikings in the late game, they are a little bit lacking. So if you go up to Imperial Age, they have strong power spike in the beginning. They have the Arbalests, and they have Siege Ram. But other than that, other than maybe the Berserk, there's not too much going on in their tech tree. And what we can already see is that Food Please is lacking gold. So he has some gold over here. And then he could take the gold in the back, so he can still has some options. But I think overall, well, he could also take the gold to the shoreline. So never mind, he's fine. Freddy, on the other hand, maybe even more pressed for gold than Food Please is. But now the Gulams finally having an upgrade and finally being able to attack over here. Oh yeah, there's one thing I always forget about this unit. So also it does some kind of splash damage where it pierces through the first unit it attacks and also damages the unit behind. So they are even stronger than Eagle Warriors in that sense. And now these villages look like they're going for some kind of castle drop. Indeed they are. On the side, which is okay. Could have been even more aggressive maybe. But yeah, he's trying to choke out his opponent. And yeah, we saw the Gulams killing the archers. Now even getting the chainmail armor, which will be very good. And I think now the players should realize that this is going to Imperial Age. And indeed, Food Please always one step ahead. He already has the Imperial Age queued, and I think this will catch Freddy off guard. He's always a little bit too slow, a little bit behind in his transitions. He's not yet thinking about the Imperial Age, not yet thinking about the next step. He's only always reacting to the current step when he should just try to go to the next step already. Which, if you see your opponent has a castle, you have some kind of castle stand-up, then you just need to transition up to the next age and get some trebuchets out. But he's not doing that, although he has a sizable farming eco, so I think if he puts some effort in, he will be able to transition rather quickly. Now, Food Please, on the other hand, and I think what you should not do is waste food on light cav. That's a lot of food wasted, and you should just go up to the next stage and try to raid with the Gulams, not run underneath the castle maybe, and then take it from there. Now, in the meantime, Fredinhiovic has boomed ahead. He has 75 villagers. He's also producing from 3 town centers. He has 40 farms. So very nice setup. But now there will be a dangerous transition period where Food Please has berserks. And I think he has a lot of them queued already. He's getting the upgrades. And those boys are really, really strong. They're especially strong against something like the Gulam, which has low attack. And now it's up to Imperial Age. We will be able to create some trebuchets and then trap this down. And indeed, that's what he's doing. He's creating trebuchet. And I think Freddy now will realize, oh shit, there is an Imperial Age. We haven't seen it in this series at all, I think. Or maybe like one time. But yes, I should maybe go for Imperial Age. So we should have a look over to his position. No, he's not going for. He's going for more upgrades. And I think at this point, this is a mistake. Just go up to him. Don't go for light cav. Like, what is light cav going to achieve if you cannot run in at all? Like, losing just one unit at a time here, trying to run in, is not gonna work, especially if the berserks come out. And I don't know if Food Please has gotten chieftains already. Probably not yet, but so chieftains means that the infantry does bonus damage to cavalry, and with that the berserks are extra strong against puny light cav. And yeah, the light cav probably won't even be able to kill the trebuchet here. Yes, well, maybe they will be able to kill one trebuchet, but then look at this fumbling here. Just patrol. Don't use hotkeys, Fredinhiovic. Attack attack move or patrol. And look at this. Fredinhiovic has lost his entire army. There was like a couple, 2,000 food that he could have spent on Imperial Age. Now he has these on no attack stance. So yes, he lost everything. And that is a little bit frustrating about the play of Fredinhiovic. Like, why are you so insistent on light cavalry when you're in Castle Age? Then at least produce camels. Like, you have the gold, just either go up to the next age, or just do something useful with that. I mean, yes, you're lucky you will be able to snipe this trebuchet, but not in time. And you give Fupis just so much time to get the upgrades, get the elite berserk, get the chieftain's tech, and yeah, and all you have is light cav, and he's continuing to produce light cav. I think Fredinhiovic doesn't know how strong berserks are, and those are not even elite berserks. Those are just regular, everyday berserks. Now finally Fredinhiovic realized this. He has cancelled the light calves, and he is going up to the Imperial Age, so very nicely done. And I hope he doesn't resign because he looks at the score, because he's not that far behind as he would think maybe, although he lost everything in that one very, very bad engagement. And as long as he's able to snipe the traps, he's able to delay the push of food please, and yes, another trap being sniped. And now what he should go for is archery ranges and then hand cannoneers, because Hindustani hand cannoneers shred the berserks. The berserks have nothing on them. But yeah, I don't know. I think that this push that's coming in by food please, who has stabilized, who has a strong economy, now has again more villagers than Fredinhiovic has this island over here. He might even land on the side at some point. I think now he's really yeah, going for this unstoppable push. And now Fredinhiovic, understandable reaction, going for the crossbowmen, but the crossbowmen are maybe, yeah, they're maybe decent, but not best option. Best option would be to go for the hand cannoneers. And now we see this fumbling. Oh, we're going in? No, we're not going in, because we're seeing a GG castle coming up right into the face of Fredinhiovic. And indeed, and yeah, Freddy can't stop it because he has light cap. He has nothing. And two archers. Okay, let's see how long they take to shoot down a fully upgraded berserk with 5 pierce armor, because he already has the Imperial Age upgrade. And yeah, this is just not going to work out here for Fredinhiovic. I think, yeah, he's just focusing on the wrong units. Hindustanis have such a strong combination, but you need to get it going. You need to focus on them. You need to go get chemistry. You need to get the unique tech, and then you need to get the hand cannoneers, which are very expensive. I totally agree, and you need something in between. So you maybe want to go for some crossbowmen, but in the end, all these light cav, I mean, now that you have the extra food, maybe spend it, but overall, what a waste of resources. You could have been in Imperial Age 2 minutes ago. You could already have chemistry upgrade, but I think that Freddy is just not used to playing with Imperial Age, and you see that the Berserks just clean house here, and Fuplis winning this game unnecessarily, I have to say. Freddy in a very good position in the mid game. He did very nice raiding, and Fuplis just had the small corner, but then Freddy went for the wrong units, just wasted a lot of units, was just fumbling around, and yeah, probably lack of knowledge of what to go for. Didn't realize that he needed to go for Imperial Age, and then was just, I think, surprised by the Berserk. What did he expect? That light calves beat Berserks? That is a little bit. I mean, Foodbeast didn't even have the elite upgrade, but you don't need that. You already have in Castle Age 12 attack, which is ridiculously high, I have to say. And Berserks already regenerate a little bit of HP, so it's they're already very, very good. So again, another win for Food Please, even though Freddy had a very good civilization, all the options, all the counters, but he just didn't know them, I guess. I think that was the big problem. And yeah, we see it basically here. Fredinhiovic in a very good position in the timeline. Yes, Food Please had more military, but all of this was navy. He had basically 0 land units, and then just nothing. Nothing happened here. And that lost Fredinhiovic the game. And with this was game 11 in the best of 21 of the series. And what an exciting series it is. Back and forth, both players showing strengths and weaknesses. And very exciting. Final note, look at the relic gold. 1,200 gold just because of relics. Definitely worth it. Alright, my name is Peter Host, and I hope to see you in the next one.